Hello everyone, how are you? Fine, thank you. Today I'm going to show off some thrift store finds, or just some finds in general, since not all of them were from the thrift store and some of them were free. Anyway, the first thing we're going to look at is this Adaptec cable. ACK LVD 1MU320. External 58-pin, I believe. High density male to 68-pin high density male. 1 meter long LVD Ultra 320. This is a SCSI cable. Basically brand new. Copyright 2001 Adaptec. That's pretty late for SCSI. And I paid $4 for it. Well, with an asterisk, because today was actually 25% off member discount day. So, overall, I paid like 75% of what I would have on a normal day. But yeah, this SCSI cable, I don't currently have anything that uses SCSI, but I do have a computer that does have onboard SCSI. Both internal and external. So this will be good to have around should I ever end up with something that needs SCSI. Next up is this EVGA X20 wireless FPS gaming mouse. This would have been about $25. The EVGA X20, I recall, is a pretty well-regarded mouse. It is in gray. My buddy Xander actually has one of these mice. I think he bought it brand new back in November of 2023. Obviously, this is not the exact one, but it is an EVGA X20. And I don't think they sell this model anymore. I think EVGA discontinued all their mice since, ever since they left the graphics card market back in 2022, and then they started cutting back on everything else. I don't know if they're even still around at all anymore, even when it comes to power supplies. It's unfortunate that they're gone, but Nvidia wasn't treating them all too well, so valid. Yeah, the box is a little ripped up, but that doesn't matter too much. Here's the quick guide, which is in basically immaculate shape. We got a nice braided cable that's never been used. EVGA. Got a USB-A on one side, and micro USB on the other. Well, this is an older product. If I could find a copyright date on the box, then that would give us a rough idea of how old this is. 2176 1320 2021? Wow, this must be a pretty late production model then. I don't think they would have released the X20 in 2021 with a USB micro type B connector over here. Well, of course it doesn't want to show its ugly face. I don't think they would have released a USB... I don't think they would have released a micro USB product that late. But here's a serial number and stuff if you really care. Yeah, the cool part is that the mouse itself has pretty much never been used. This isn't the first basically new old stock mouse I got. The first was a Logitech M570 that I got at Value Village with my buddy Xander back in July of last year, when he was meeting up with me, of course. Yeah, this was never used at all. Wow. It smells kind of like old tires, but like new old tires. I don't know how I feel about the form factor personally, but I got this either for me to use, or I could give this to one of my cousins so they have a better mouse than whatever gamer slop that they have. Or I could just resell it, but probably not going to resell it. And here's the wireless... Wait, is this the wireless dongle? X20. Well, as a matter of fact, this is the wireless dongle. A bit thick there. And it's got a rubber coating, which will probably degrade over time, but this is basically brand new, and it's not even 5 years older. It's 5 years old at the absolute oldest, given the copyright date on the box. That's a pretty deep micro USB port there. I think it might be that deep, so you could use this in like a wired mode and not just wireless. In that case, that's pretty based. Sometimes you might just want a wired mouse over wireless. Wired so you don't have to charge it, and also because less latency, I guess. But in my case, it would be more so I don't have to charge it, because I'd be using my mouse at my desktop all the time anyway. Alright, this is not the last find for the day, but this one is definitely the coolest. It's a MacBook. Looks like a MacBook Pro? I would have paid... Let's flip that upside down. I would have paid about $25 for this today, had it been a normal day. It's looking kind of big, so this might actually be a 15-inch. Spoiler alert, it is a 15-inch. We got a pretty dirty-looking MagSafe 2 port here. They all get like this, it's normal. We have 2 Thunderbolt ports. I'm almost certain these are Thunderbolt 2. We got a USB 3.0 port. They're all USB 3.0 on the Retina MacBook Pros. We have a microphone and headphone jack. I should have just called it a headphone jack. It's a combo jack. Got no latch. No latch, it just opens. And you can see from the speaker width that this is a 15-inch. Now, if you're looking at the keyboard, there's no way of definitively telling what model this is. But it looks like this one has not been stain gated, or it's barely been stain gated. Okay, looks like that's just a hair there. This might have some cat hair. I'm definitely going to have to clean this up. On this side, we have the SD card slot, HDMI, and another USB 3.0. The rubber feet are, well, all but one of them are pretty much missing. This one's disintegrating. Someone really didn't like feet, huh? No, I kid. They all fall off on these MacBook Pros. Don't ask me how I know. And there's the serial number if you care to take a look at it. EMC 2910, if that tells you anything. A couple buddies of mine looked up that serial number, and this is a later Retina unit. This was sold in July of 2016, so just before the awful, disastrous MacBook Pro 13,3 came out. Yeah, 13,3 is the 2016 15-inch. This is a 2015. And the trackpad is pretty consistently, not clicky. And that tells me pretty much that this is a 2015 model. So this is basically the ultimate Intel MacBook Pro, kind of. The ultimate would actually be the 16,1, which is the 16-inch, but this is either an 11,4 or 11,5. I'm personally hoping it's the 11,4 because the dedicated graphics these days kind of cause more problems than they solve. So integrated is just less trouble, even though it's less powerful. And unironically, this would actually be better than my mom's MacBook Pro 14,2, which is a 2017 13-inch 4 Thunderbolt 3. God, that name is a mouthful. I just call it the 14,2 for a reason. Because this has a Quad i7 in it. Granted, it is an older Haswell generation, while her dual-core i5 is Kaby Lake, but still, that can make quite the difference these days. Her 14,2 is not doing the greatest these days. And here's one more find for the day. This one was actually free on Facebook Marketplace. It's an AGP graphics card, so you know what that means. Rare Retro Gaming! Rare Retro Gaming! Look at my poop! It's an ATI Radeon 9000 64 megabytes, but it's not just any Radeon 9000. It's not just any 9000 Pro. It's the All-in-Wonder variant. Yeah, it's only got a DVI out, but it is at least DVI, so you can adapt that to VGA. You have a video input, video out, and we have cable TV, CATV, cable analog. It's an analog tuner. It's not a very useful tuner these days, as analog shut down back in 2009, but still, having an all-in-wonder is pretty cool. Unfortunately, I sold my 8500 DV box and accessories last year, not knowing that I'd end up with one of these. And apparently this has an ATI Theater 200 chip from the 12th week of 2003. You would think that the Radeon 9000's RV250 GPU merged the Rage Theater chip onto the GPU itself, but no, this one has a separate Theater chip because, it has the whole TV tuner built in. Let's flip this around. There's the old classic ATI logo. The Canadians built this. Their flag is a fucking leaf! And if we look at the serial number, this was built on the 18th week of 2003. Which would line up. I think the 9000 All-in-Wonder released at the end of March 03. I'm going to need to test this, and I brought a system with me out to this room so we could test it. The SR 1990NX, which is now known as Newcastle, got decommissioned, so this is probably where I was going to put this card in anyway. This is Topham, aka the Dell Precision 410. Oh, my voice just cracked there. And currently, this has a Pentium 2 350 with 128 megs of RAM and a GeForce 3. That GeForce 3, I got it cheap for like $10 at the VCFE swap meet, and it works, but admittedly, it kind of bothers me like the 9200 did back in 2019, because the Pentium 2 is strangling the GeForce 3, and the GeForce 3 definitely deserves some better hardware, like a fast Pentium 3 or an Athlon. And yes, this is said system with onboard SCSI. Even has it internally as well, although I don't know where that... No, it's right there. There's the internal SCSI port. Also, for those who care, here's the GeForce 3. It's an Asus V8200 Deluxe. A pretty elegant looking card. It's got... Wait. It's got an S-Video input? VR out? S-Video output? Composite out? Yeah, this is a pretty nice card. I mean, I knew this was a nice card because it's a GeForce 3. Here's the V8200 Deluxe sticker. 16 at the beginning of the string here means June of 2001. Like, yeah, this is a really nice card. It's too nice for a Pentium 2. This definitely deserves, like, an Athlon or a faster Pentium 3. This card is a bit slower, but it's still a pretty good card. I feel like this is more valid for a Pentium 2 350, especially currently a single Pentium 2 350. This can take dual Pentium 2 350s, but that won't help us in gaming. Anyway, let's put the 9000 Pro in. Also, there's a PCIX slot and ISA for those who are interested in that. Eventually, I'm probably going to add one of those cards to the system. I want to deck this out at some point. Alright, Topham over here is a bit too old for USB peripherals to work reliably, especially in the BIOS, so PS2 it is. We got the good old KB8923 and this GE PS2 optical mouse. I'm probably going to replace this and give this one to my cousin for his retro PC setup, but let's turn this on. Hey, we're getting a signal out of this at least. That's pretty cool. The guy said it was untested, but usually on Facebook Marketplace, if something's untested, usually it works in my experience. Although, always assume the worst when it comes to this stuff. But yeah, I got a working 9000 Pro all-in-one for free off some guy off Facebook Marketplace. Hell yeah. Also, he's got more stuff for me. He told me that he's got a old shuttle Pentium 4 thing that's untested but probably has bad capacitors. Probably also going to list him for free because I've seen his listings before. He puts stuff up for free, although I've tried getting stuff off him before and I've always been beaten to the punch. Now I'm just going to have to install drivers and make sure that works, although I'm going to have to get rid of the GeForce 3 drivers somehow. And yes, I have Windows 2000 on this system and not 98. Simply for the fact that this can take dual Pentium 2s, and putting 98 on a system like this would not be doing it justice. Yes, that was the internal speaker from the system you just heard. Also, there's 16-color Serial Experiments Lane. Someone in my comments section a couple months back suggested me to put a Lane wallpaper on this. I mean, it's fitting for the era, given that this came out in... Or the system is from 1998. It was manufactured in October that year. Also, it's Windows 2000 trying to find a driver for it. I'm going to have to get rid of the GeForce 3 driver. Oh, by the way, if you need an alternative to Display Driver Uninstaller or DDU for Windows 9X and 2000, good old Driver Cleaner here is your best bet. Anyway, I just deleted all the NVIDIA GeForce 3 drivers, and now I'm going to install the ATI drivers. I downloaded 5.13, because 6.11 is a little dicey, and Phil's Computer Lab for some reason didn't archive 6.2 for NT5. Or, then again, it's not entirely his fault. He's just archiving whatever he can, and I blame everyone else for not archiving it. Let's see if GPU-Z 046 recognizes GPU. Okay, no it doesn't. I have to install the drivers. So, let's continue with that. Also, I think I updated this to DirectX 9. I think I did. DX Diag. So I probably updated this to DX9. Maybe trying to run DX Diag on a Pentium 2 350 while also trying to extract the ATI drivers isn't the best idea. Okay, no, I only have DirectX 7 installed on here. Really need to... Oh, shut up. Oh, who am I kidding? That's Moogie's voice. I can't tell her to shut up. Fun fact, Moogie's voice actress, Shelby Lindley, shares the same birthday as me, except she was born about 16 years prior. Okay, now it's displaying in 256 color mode at least. So that's a good sign at least that the drivers install. And it's displaying just fine. I mean, it always defaults to 256 colors, or usually defaults to 256. Now we just got to adjust this to a higher resolution. I think it's in 640 by 480 right now. Ooh! Oh, that didn't look too good. Hey, I'm still not saying no for free, though. I mean, that could potentially be fixed. I don't know, the wallpaper unloaded for a second. Found new hardware. I think the new hardware in question is probably the TV tuner card. That's also running through the AGP slot. CLI? What? Already? Well, it detects itself as an all-in-wonder 9000. And we can go up to this monitor's native 1920 by 1080. At least in theory we can. I'm going to start off with 1024 by 768, as that's what I normally run this computer at on my HP VS15. Okay, it's doing 1024 by 768. Although the numbers aren't looking too great at the moment. ATI WDM Rage Theater Audio. It's just trying to find every device driver at this point. Also, because it's kind of annoying me right now, I'm just going to go into this monitor settings, go to display, aspect ratio, wait, 4:3, 5:4, oh, can it auto-adjust? I don't want to leave it at 4:3 all the time. Ah, screw it, let's try 1920 by 1080. See how far we get. Hey, it's displaying 1080p. No, I don't want to restart my computer right now. Yeah, it's pretty cool that this is doing 1080p, although it's not surprising. I've had a 9200 output 1080p before. I've had other cards do so as well, that are weaker than this and older. Well, not much older, but a little bit older. Let me see if I have CPU-Z anywhere. It has to be the 9X version, because I can't get regular old CPU-Z working on here. Oh. Yeah, some graphics are just kind of messed up on this card. I wonder if that's fixable. That should be saying CPU-Z. That messed up graphic right there. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be doing the best right now, but overall, I can't say no for free. Well, it is possible that those graphical quirks just could be, you know, a crappy ATI driver at the time. You know, given how ATI drivers tended to be, and especially with the launch of the Radeon 8500, those drivers are terrible, and that's why it lost to the GeForce 3 so early on. But then later on, it got better to the point where it could even match or outperform the TI 500. Anyway, I hope you all enjoy this video, and as always, I will see y'all in the next one. Well, almost. Because this system is weird, and ACPI doesn't really work on Windows 2000, or NT5 in general, because it's now safe to turn off your computer, even though ACPI does technically exist on this system. I guess it's just something to do with the old BIOS on this. I'm going to have to see about updating it past A09, or A05, but I'm going to have to get a working floppy drive, because this one over here doesn't work. Anyway, yeah, that's it for this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.